Shalom, coming in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. This lesson is going to be titled, Our People Are Destroyed for a Lack of Knowledge. And, you can really go in so many directions with that because, destroyed spiritually, destroyed physically, go so many directions. So I'm going to try and touch on everything, right? A little bit, but we're going to be, we're going to see where we go with it. Proverbs 27 and 25. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered. Right, so it's referring to the wilderness, and the way the wilderness and the environment works. Right, the lambs are for thy clothing, and the goats are the price of the field. So like lambs, you cut them, you shear them, and use the wool for clothing. Right. You have woolen clothes and stuff like that to keep you warm or just for wearing in general. And goats, the price of the field, right? So you sell goats, you can drink goat's milk also. Oh, okay, there we go. So I'm going to go into that. And thou shalt have goat's milk enough for thy food. So goat's milk you can drink, right? It doesn't say anything about drinking cow's milk, right? It's just Most High covers everything. For the food of thy household and for the maintenance for thy maidens, right? So that's for your house, your maidens, your women, and everything like that. You have your servants and everything like that. Now, the point I was going into, just this whole verse, right? This tells you things to eat, things to wear, right, and what it's used for. Already, it's giving you information, instructions. But since our people don't know the scriptures, right? They don't know their own book. They just follow the ways of the heathen, right? We're in snake this, get alligator that, all this other stuff that you're not supposed to be wearing, right? You're not supposed to be eating, or you're not supposed to be drinking, right? And it mentioned herbs, right? It said the herb. It didn't say the tender grass was gathered. It said the herbs of the mountain are gathered. So what is a herb, right? What is a herb? Herb, that's how it's pronounced. Non-woody plant, especially a leafy vegetable used for human food. That's 13th century. Grass, herb, plant fed to animals. Herbage, turf weeds. Okay, right here, definition from WordNet. A plant lacking a permanent woody stem. Many are flowering garden plants or pot herbs. Some have medicinal properties. Some are pests, right? So, aromatic pot herb used in cookery for its savory qualities. Yeah, so you can use herbs for cooking too, obviously. You can use them for both medicinal and cooking, right? So these herbs were gathered also, right? So we're supposed to gather herbs. You're supposed to eat them, okay? Because a lot of the plants that you think are pests are actually herbs, like dandelions. Dandelion roots actually a herb. You eat that, it cleans your palate and your tongue, and it detoxes your body. But people don't know that. They just see it on their garden and they spray pesticides to get rid of them because they want their garden to look green. Their grass, their lawn to look green and covered in fully green. There's a reason why those dandelions are growing. They're supposed to be there, right? But Esau obviously does the opposite, contrary to the Most High. He sprays pesticides and fucks up the environment and kills those plants, right? So let's see if we can find this. I'm going to go to Genesis 2. I just want to look for the part where it talks about the herbs. Okay, here, verse 5. Genesis 2 and 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, the Lord power, right? So that's referring to Yahweh because it has Lord in caps and then it has power, God, right? It's when it just says the power, like when it just says God, is just referring to the powers, is Alahayim, so the angels, right? When it says Lord in caps, it's talking about Yahweh, right? Lord God hath not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. I think that was it. I'm just want to make sure. Right. I'm just mentioning, I just want to read the part where it's mentioned the herb, right? So the Most High created these things for us, right? It's a medicinal stuff, right? So he didn't create, actually the reason why I read this, because it's in Genesis, right? The beginning, when everything was created. He didn't create a pharmaceutical company with pills and with side effects that cause all these other problems when he first created the earth. No, he created herbs, right? So you're supposed to eat those because they're medicinal properties, right? Those are for healing. Like we just read in etymology. So let's gonna jump to 9. I don't want to read the whole thing. I just want to get to the point. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Genesis 9:3. Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, right? Even as the green herb have I given you all things. So he says even the herb is meat for you to eat, right? Now, every moving thing, he does go into what you can eat and what you can't eat, right? Because people might say, oh, he says you can eat any moving thing. So that means like eating pork. It's like, no, because he goes later on and he explains what you can eat and what you can't eat. But the herb, right? There you go. It says you're supposed to eat the herbs, right? So when you have doctors, if you have a doctor that's tell you not to eat herbs, take this pill, this pill's gonna come with this side effects and you're gonna have to re-up again, right? Obviously the pill's not taking care of the problem. It's just dealing with the symptoms. And some of them don't even deal with the symptoms properly, right? And when it deals with the symptoms that you have, it creates more symptoms, right? The point is to deal with the actual problem that's causing the symptoms, the root of this problem, right? And only herbs can do that, right? Because when you trust in Esau's medicine, you always have side effects. There's always this side effect with this. It causes these symptoms, right? Herbs don't do that. Unless you take too much herbs, right? Obviously, you have to know your amounts of herbs you're supposed to take. You take too much, right? But you're not gonna die. I've never heard someone die of herb overdose. They might get they might have too much in their system in the sense they took too much because those things are potent, but you're not gonna die. I've never heard of that. Okay, so that's it on that. So now we're gonna go to Romans, right? Especially now with what's going on, like you need to understand how herbs work, right? You understand like all these medicines and all this stuff, like it's nonsense. And if anything, you should be taking herbs anyways. To be careful because the people that are getting that corona, that vaccine, they're the ones that are actually injecting themselves with a virus. So they're actually making themselves sick. The ones that don't get those vaccines are actually clean. You're actually healthy, right? Don't let people confuse you. Because remember, you have to ask yourself, what happened to the flu? What happened to all these seasonal sicknesses or viruses that happen during certain times of the year? What happened? How come you don't hear about them anymore? They just disappeared? No. What's happening is that all these flus and other viruses people usually get during these times of years, like winter, whatever, are all being umbrella covered with the C19, right? With this virus that we're dealing with right now. So they're all just saying, okay, that's the same thing, which is not, right? So my point is that just protect your body has a way of healing itself. It's just your immune system. So you need to build it up, right? Build it up with using herbs, right? And then when you get sick, you use the herbs. You use fruits, vegetables, and that's it. You drink water, distilled water, alkaline water. You fast, and that's it. Your body will heal itself. You don't need to go take a shot, And the scriptures tell you not to take a shot anyways. Okay, so where we're going to is verse 1, and we're going to read to verse 3. Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. Right? So like if you're a person, like someone, basically it's like if you're in the truth for a period of time, for years, and let's say you have a brother, right? You get one's older in the truth and one's younger in the truth. And you go to someone's house and they're celebrating a holiday like Christmas or whatever. And the older brother in the truth is eating the food that they prayed for and Christmas and the holiday and stuff like that. A younger brother is young and he knows that Christmas is, you're not supposed to be celebrating that, but he sees his brother eating the food. So he might get confused because then he's just like, well, I thought we were not supposed to celebrate these holidays. Isn't eating the food celebrating the holiday? And the older brother's like, well, yes, but if you pray over it, you're not partaking in this holiday, right? You pray over it, you're not partaking in this holiday, you're not celebrating, you're just here to eat the food. That's it, you're good. But you have to be careful because that brother might not know that, right? So you might have to explain that to him. And maybe he's not even ready to get that information yet. So for that older brother, he would just have to maybe just not eat the food, or just not even go to that celebration, right? So you just have to be aware of that. For one believeth that he may eat all things, another who is weak eateth herbs. So, right? So when you're weak, you eat herbs. Right? Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for Yahweh hath received him. Right? So that's basically what I just explained about being aware of what you're eating in front of someone that's younger than you. Not explain it to them if you have to explain it to them so they know, so they don't get they don't go down the wrong path. But the point of why I wanted to read this because of the herbs. When you're weak, you eat herbs. It says you right there. Who is weak eateth herbs. Right? So now we're going to go to 2nd Ezra's and the 9th chapter, verse 26. So I went. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Drink. Okay, you know what? Let me read up a little bit because it actually has a little bit more. Okay. Okay, verse 23. Nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 days more, because he's talking about fasting again, another 7 days. If you fasted for more than 1 day, or even 1 day, but more than 1 day, you notice that you're in the spirit even more. You're deeper in the spirit, and the Most High talks to you even more, right? You get more revelations a lot faster than when you're not fasting and you're eating food, right? Because now when you're eating food, you're feeding your flesh. When you're not eating food, you're feeding the spirit because your flesh is being starved. Yeah. So nevertheless, if thou wilt cease yet 7 days, but thou shalt not fast in them. Okay, so he's saying don't fast during these 7 days. Do it slightly different. So it's showing another way where you can still be, what's the word I'm looking for? Still be connected to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahushai, right? So going on a cleanse, because that's basically what he's doing here right now. But go into a field of flowers where no house is builded, and eat only the flowers of the field. Taste no flesh, drink no wine, but eat flowers only. So it's funny that he said that, because that's basically what a cleanse is. And I just went on that recently. I'm almost done it. And this cleanse, you can't have no wine, right? No alcohol. You can't eat any flesh, right? It's just flowers, basically herbs and water and juice, like juice from basically fruits. So you have vegetables, you have herbs, you have fruit, and you have you have water. That's about it. That's all you can do. Right? It's like a cleanse you go on. But the Most High will still deal with you when you're doing that, because you're not eating a fleshly thing, right? Because your body likes flesh. It likes meat. I know my body, if I'm talking for myself, it likes meat. So when I don't give it that, I am inflicting it in some way, right? And pray unto the highest continually, then will I come and talk with thee. So I went my way into the field, which is called Ardath, like as he commanded me, and there I sat among the flowers and did eat of the herbs of the field, and the meat of the same satisfied me. See, and you're satisfied with the herbs and the plants. So you don't need to eat meat. You want to eat meat, right? You don't really need to eat it, right? There's still some benefits from eating meat, but you don't need to eat it. So that's why I wanted to read that. Then we're going to go to chapter 12 real quick. We're going to go to 51. But I remained still in the field 7 days, as the angel commanded me, and did eat only in those days of the flowers of the field, and had my meat of the herbs. And he was fine. He didn't die. He was fine. Right? So he basically went on the cleanse. A physical cleanse and a spiritual cleanse. So when you go on a cleanse, that's the proper way to do a cleanse. Right? It's just herbs, water. You can have vegetables, right? And fruit. That's it. No meat, no wine, no meat. So now we're going to go to Maccabees. Almost done. 5, 7. Howbeit for all this he obtained not the principality, but at the last received shame for the reward of his treason, and fled again into the country of the Ammonites. Right? I'm sure this is the right one. No, that wasn't the right one, Salakia. So we're going to go to Ecclesiasticus. and 10. Okay, Ecclesiasticus 10 and 10. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. Right? So physicians cut off a long disease. Now, physician will cut off a long disease from using herbs, right? And using their skills and things like that, but using herbs. That's what a true physician is supposed to use, right? Or herbologist, right? Herbalist or herbalist. They actually know how to get rid of diseases using herbs and fasting and things like that, right? But even when you do that, you are supposed to pray to Yahweh Shem Yoshai first, then trust in the physician. Don't trust in Esau and his stuff, right? So now we're going to go to chapter 38, 1-3. Honor a physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which he may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. So the Most High created these physicians, right? He created them. I'm not talking about doctors, right? I'm talking about physicians, ones that actually deal in the herbs. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration, right? The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them, right? Right, so right there, he tells you medicines out of the earth. He didn't make medicines out of a lab, right? And if they make medicines out of that lab, say if you're taking a pill, it has to be all herbs. Like someone just, took a bunch of herbs, put it together, grinded it, and put it in as a capsule. That's it. There's no man-made medicine. It's just you took herbs, you just made it more convenient to take. That's it, right? So right here, like the Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. So if you're abhorring the medicines from the earth, like the herbs, and you're trusting in Esau with his chemicals, well, most likely it's gonna fuck you up. You're just gonna fuck you up. Okay? Because that's not his way of doing things. That's not the way he told you to do things. You're following the way of the beast, the devil. Okay? And the last one, we're just going to 12. Then give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him. So if you know someone who's good in herbs, right, and healing with herbs, right, make sure you don't put away that person. If you have someone in your life that's good with that, keep them around, right? And if you want to learn it yourself, learn it yourself. For me, I'm learning that stuff myself. So because I'd like to deal with herbs and stuff like that. So because like the scripture said, the Most High made medicines out of the earth. So, and the scriptures also say, be circumspect in every matter, great or small, roughly paraphrasing. So you need to be aware of these things, because people are not aware of these things. Our people, because they trust in Esau, which is why they're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because if you see the way they are right now, their bodies are destroyed, right? They're eating all this poisonous stuff, like these foods are poisonous, that are messing up their bodies. And that's why, they have diabetes, they're obese, they have sickle cell anemia, all these type of diseases, right? The majority of it's from foods, right? Obviously you have the chemtrails and stuff like that, and the water and the water, the water system and stuff like that. But the majority of it's from the food that they're eating, right? And not exercising and doing things like that, not going on a fast, not cleansing their body, getting rid of all that gunk that's backed up in their bowels, right? So, and the reason why that's happening to them is because of lack of knowledge. They don't have information because they don't read the scriptures. They don't understand the scriptures. So that's why the title is Our People Are Destroyed for a Lack of Knowledge. But I did go into the herbs, right? Anyways, the point has been made. I hope this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect, and I hope this opened up your eyes where you need to, do more research and understand more things when it comes to your body, right? Because you can't run from your body. You're trapped in it. So you need to understand how to heal it and fix it when things go wrong, because you can't go to Esau for that. He's not going to help you. He's just going to give you pills that are just going to deal with the symptoms, and they're going to cause more symptoms, right? Yeah. So I would close out by saying, Ka Hala Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to the hopeful elect, pushing his word in truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. Death and destruction to his wicked kingdom, and the 2/3 as well. Kwam Yasharallah, Abad Babal, Shalom.